Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are having a really good day so far. Yes? Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the new way of doing business, a way that incorporates AI and sustainability, one that allows for economic growth, but gives us the opportunity to take care of people and communities whilst potentially paving the way to saving our planet. Over the next few minutes, I know a few people have been taking notes. Please do so. If you have any questions, come and find us. You've heard a lot from the speakers today, and a few of the concepts I'm going to go through will touch on those parts. And this is a perfect opportunity for you all to join the dots. So, on with the show. Sustainability is the new normal. It is the way business is being run. Last year, in the first half of 2021, 3.3 trillion euros, that's in Europe, were invested in organizations with environmental, social, and corporate governance initiatives. That figure is set to increase to over 7.5 trillion by the end of 2025. The driving forces behind this change: overhaul and regulation, you've heard a lot about that today, societal demands, which are very obvious, and the surprising performance of organizations with ESG initiatives. Business is no longer about driving pure economic growth. It's about hitting every aspect of the triple bottom line. That's taking care of people and the planet with consideration for making profit. So, where does AI fit into all of this? Let's begin with sustainability. When people think about sustainability, they tend to think about it in its component parts. As I just mentioned before, we talked about people, planet, and profit. You get some balance between those three parts, you come up with something that's sustainable. The problem with taking that approach is that it makes any initiative very difficult to create, let alone deploy and maintain over time. So, what do we do about it? If we turn the problem on its head and think sustainability first, then conceptually, at least, the problem is easier to tackle. So now you are thinking sustainably. What is it that you need to do? What initiative do you need to involve yourselves in order to accomplish your sustainability goals? This is an AI conference, so the advice is do AI. The beauty of AI is that it affords us all a unique opportunity to uncover, access, and act upon insights that would have been previously unavailable to us. This information helps us to find balance amongst the three Ps. And if any of you are still concerned about whether or not to leverage AI for your business, I just want to provide you with some numbers, or a big number, in fact. By the end of 2023, the worldwide revenue for AI will have broken the $500 billion mark. That's including services, hardware, and software. I think you'll all agree it's an amazing opportunity to not only innovate, but to change the world. So, I've set the scene, and now you're thinking, okay, you've won me over, AI for sustainability. How do I begin on my journey? I have 3 key takeaways for you. Conversations you can take to your office and begin that transformative journey. 1, capitalize on creative AI technologies to support sustainability. 2, adopt responsible AI practice that protects not only business, but consumers. And 3, design AI innovation around human needs. A sustainable future is one that's human-centric. You get those three pieces in place, not only would you have an organization that is profitable, but that has the opportunity for increased growth, and also an organization that is resilient to the effects of climate change and that of an uncertain world. So as we move on in this journey, I want you to consider what the future looks like for you and your business. One, unconstrained by a current way of thinking. So, the effects of climate change are obvious. They're happening now. The need to act is urgent. And urgent action requires accelerated adoption of technologies. Now, many of you think that the technologies that will help us mitigate climate change are decades away into the future, but they're not. They exist right now. And in adopting those technologies, at Cambridge Consultants, we advocate, and have been for the last few years, the concept of minimum viable intelligence. The beauty of this approach is that you create an AI that's functional for its purpose, minimum functionalities for its purpose, and deploy it to market. The beauty of this process is that the AI is able to gather data that is used to refine its models, enhance its performance, and continue to provide value for its users. So I'm going to go through some technologies that you may wish to capitalize on and consider the possibilities for your business. I'm not going to go into any of these things in any great technical depth or detail. I'm just going to touch on these conceptually. Many of you will know about the concepts of graph neural networks. For those of you who don't, it's a way of using AI to model complex systems and to understand the relationships between component parts of complex systems. The beauty of graph neural networks is that you can stack complex systems. So let me give you an example. In our effort to move away from our dependency on fossil fuels, think about the application on smart grids or energy systems. If you are a utility supplier, you will want to know about the demands of your consumers. You'll also want to know how the environment affects that demand. With graph neural networks, you will be able to anticipate inefficiencies and disruptions and compensate through the use of renewable sources as opposed to non-renewable sources. Next, we talk about next-generation materials. At CC, we have experienced an extensive work in modeling biological systems and synthetic systems. We have experience in using AI to predict the capabilities of proteins and materials before manufacture. Imagine a world of new innovative materials that are not only sustainable and biodegradable, but also have a low carbon footprint for manufacturing. We could finally get rid of our dependency on plastics. And what would those innovative materials do for you? Where could this take you if you have manufacturing as part of your supply chain? Finally, I want to address AI at the edge. At CC, we have been tackling the challenge that AI is energy intensive. Our work has shown that we can actually take a complex, heavyweight AI algorithm, optimize it, and deploy it on the edge. Our work showing that you can identify TB in a small sample examined by mobile phone shows that you can maintain the accuracy of AI and also make that technology available to markets which otherwise would not have been able to have access to it. The potential, not only tapping into untapped markets, but what could you possibly achieve if you had AI at your fingertips? So, we talked about capitalizing on technologies and accelerated adoption, but accelerated adoption must be tempered with careful consideration. We also advise and have been advising to implement AI assurance and governance right at the design stage of AI. Why? It builds trust. It reduces time to market. It creates resilient and robust technologies. It mitigates risks to businesses and consumers. But most of all, it also helps you fulfill your ethical and legal obligations. For those of you who are interested, the OECD has over 700 policies from around the world across 60 territories, with governments stating how they wish to see AI deployed not only through business, but guard against its impact on communities and the environment. It's very apparent we're going through a revolution in AI governance, and the future no longer belongs to those who do it first, but those who do it right. Finally, a future that capitalizes on technologies, accelerated adoption, and responsible practices is one that sees a future with a deeper partnership between humanity and technology. In the past, humanity has compensated for technology in order to achieve its goals. But what if technology could understand us, the human condition? What if it could understand us physiologically, psychologically, and emotionally? What could we achieve then? At CC, we have been working in a field that combines behavioral sciences and psychology with AI, a field we called human-machine understanding. The potential is amazing. We ask questions like, how can we enhance safety or enhance performance or understand consumers better? But we are also asking the really important questions. How does this affect business, communities, society overall? This is the future of AI and humanity. So, why do any of this at all? I've ran you through 3 things that you can take away for yourself and for your business, but I wanted to share with you why I'm so passionate about this topic. For me, I love working at the intersection of technology and people. I firmly believe that AI used responsibly in business can overall lead to flourishing economies. Flourishing economies elevate society, and a society that's elevated has greater concern for its environment, greater stewardship for that environment. Greater stewardship means better resource management, and that feeds back into flourishing economies. It's not just about sustainability, it's about a virtuous cycle. And I firmly believe that each and every one of us in this room can be part and parcel of that journey. I've been your host, Dillon. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.